Meta and Apple unveiling virtual reality headsets. How will they change computing? Will Meta be releasing another social media platform to compete with Twitter? Scammers have switched from scam calls to scam text messages, and malicious actors are using AI to carry out this extortion scams. All that and more next on the Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for up-to-date scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 134, and I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Thanks for tuning in with us every Saturday at 2 p.m., and we post all of our shows and bonus content on ComputerDoctorShow.com and the Computer Doctor Show YouTube channel. We love to hear from you, so give us a call during the show with your computer, internet, cybersecurity comments and questions on our open studio line, 520-790-2040. Co-hosting today, we have Chris again, sir, from the Cassie Unscrewed Theater.
Thank you to be here. Glad to be here, and we are live. Unless you're listening on the podcast.
Yes, we are live. Sometimes we do have to do things pre-recorded. And as I understand, some of our listeners had to call in just to learn that we were not live at the time, but. Sorry about that. Things come up, and when things come up in my life that happen on Saturday, we have to pre-record and make things happen.
Thanks for listening.
And it's better that we pre-record than run a dull rerun.
Yeah.
I try not to run the reruns.
Who wants to hear the same computer information twice?
I mean, it's like a week in the past, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to live in the past.
Technology moves forward.
We have to catch up with it. We can't leave it behind.
Yep.
So, as also a reminder, please support our sponsors. So if you are looking for top quality auto repairs that exceed your expectations, look no further than Perfection Auto Works. The team of expert technicians at Perfection Auto Works will get the job done right the first time with a level of workmanship that ensures perfection in every job. From routine maintenance to major repairs, Perfection Auto Works aims to surpass their customers' expectations. So visit Perfection Auto Works to experience why they are the trusted name in auto repair. Call 323-8650 or visit perfectionautoworks.com. Perfection Auto Works, where perfection is not just a word, it is their commitment. And remember, if you like the Computers Doctor Show, please support our sponsors. Here is what is happening into tech news this week. We're not going to say that this is rapid because we're going to spend a little bit more time on this subject.
We're gonna do a deep dive.
We're gonna go a little bit deeper this time around. So if you've been watching the news lately. So Apple has unveiled their virtual reality headset. Meta has also unveiled their headset as well. These are headsets that are not yet available. But they have just unveiled them.
You mean I can't go to my Apple store and get it yet?
No, but you can get online. I'm sure there's some bozos out there already getting online for this.
Right. I'll go grab my tent.
Can somebody go down there to the Apple store and see who has already pitched a tent out there to wait for this release? So we're going to be talking about the Apple Vision Pro and the Meta Quest 3. From today, what the impressions are based on the reports that have been going out there. So virtual reality headsets, the metaverse, things like this. Apparently, these companies are trying to influence. That's where technology is going. That's where people are going to live.
They're trying to force it on us.
Well, it's great if people can't get out, but for people that can't get out, this is great. But apparently, they think that we should be living in digital virtual worlds.
Oh yeah,
and
they think that. Isn't this how the Matrix started? It's going to start with virtual reality headset, and we're going to end up in a tank full of fluid.
Yes, or as I hope that we're not one day just a head with like tentacles and like
Right,
mechanical arms
like
coming out.
wires into our brain stem.
There we go.
Oh, what a pleasant topic.
That would be very pleasant. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at the pros and cons of the Apple Vision Pro. So number one, your eyes are the mouse. So when you put these things on, anything that you're looking at. So basically, you put these on, and okay. So we're in the studio right now. I'm looking straight at you.
Yes.
Okay, I can put a screen over here over your left shoulder and a screen on your right shoulder,
Okay.
and I can be doing computing while still looking at you, but there's a monitor there. I'm looking into space, but I see a monitor, but you don't.
Oh.
Because it's in the goggles that I'm wearing,
Right.
and I can place objects in and around my space that I can interact with that nobody else can see because I have these goggles on.
Oh, interesting.
Okay. And the way that you can do that, it's all with your fingers. There are cameras inside the goggles that detect your fingers. When you tap your pointer and thumb, that's a click.
Oh.
Then you can do a double click, which is a double tap like that. You can do this scrolling.
Like the smallest violin in the world.
Yes, right. You can slide your fingers together, and that's like equivalent of scrolling or going down or up.
Okay.
Okay, and so let's say that you pull up a computer screen inside the visor. You can just look at the box where you're supposed to be typing,
Right.
and then you could just start speaking because the cursor will already be there. You could just speak your request, and it'll automatically fill it in and run the command.
Okay. So
Okay.
it's basically using a computer,
Mhm.
but not having anything there.
Right.
Like it's almost pantomime.
Exactly.
Computer.
So if you want to look crazy
Yeah.
in a room full of people, put one of these on and just start waving your arms around and let people take your picture.
Well, and then once everyone has one, it'll be a whole room full of people who look like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Could you imagine if somebody from the past walks into a room?
No.
Oh my goodness, what are these people in the future doing?
No, I can't. I don't know if Thomas Jefferson could see us now.
Oh man, that would be amazing. Also, one of the pros is you are basically immersed in the environment. If you've seen a picture of the Apple Vision Pros,
I have.
basically it's different from VR because you could actually that lens is actually translucent. You can actually see right through that.
Oh, for the Apple.
Right. This is the
Okay.
Apple version.
All
So
right.
we're still talking about the Apple Vision Pros. So while you are in what's called when you're not immersed, when you're in virtual reality,
Right.
if somebody walks into the room while you're using these things, they can actually see your eyes.
Sure. Okay.
And you could actually look at them and have a conversation because you can see their eyes and
Right.
they can see your eyes.
So
through
you
the
can make
Google.
eye contact.
You can make eye contact.
Because it's not like the other headset where you have the screen
Right.
which is
it's completely
covering
blocked,
your eyes.
right.
Yeah.
And you only see his cameras on that side.
Yeah.
So basically the way the Apple Vision Pro is, when you're in full immersed mode, that screen goes black, or there's like a rainbow design on it so that you can't see the eyes.
Okay.
So
Oh, I see.
while you're fully immersed, even if somebody walks into the room when you're in full immersion, they cannot see you cannot see them, but the cameras will detect the person that has walked in, and then they'll show their face inside your immersed environment.
Wow.
Okay, while they're there. That way you can still communicate with your real world while you're in some fantasy land.
Right. What? I was going to ask you that. So Meta has their environment, their virtual environment, and they call it the metaverse, right? So what did somebody come up with it? Is it going to be called like the Apple Orchard or something like that?
They haven't given it a name yet, but there are immersible environments
Yeah.
to select from.
Right.
So exactly what they haven't, I have not seen a name for it, but I'm sure they don't want to call it metaverse.
No,
because
no.
they're trying their best to not.
I don't even think they're going to call it the Appleverse.
That sounds kind of strange. I'm sure they'll come up with another cool name for it.
Yeah.
The other pros are the ability to take 3D photos. So you can take a picture, and what that basically means, you take a picture of something, and then once you have that picture, you could actually manipulate it and go in and zoom out, and it'll be just like a 3D movie almost.
Yeah.
That has depth. okay, on
Wow.
it. So that's pretty interesting. Also, it uses the M2 chip for 38 cores. M2 chip, 38 cores. Remember back in dual core and
Yeah.
quad core, octa-core?
I
This-
lost track of my cores. Oh, they can call it the Apple Core.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna trademark
one apple
that.
with 38 cores. Oh, that's
I'm
really good.
gonna trademark
38
that.
trees, apple trees made from that. So, yep, they're up to 38 cores, and the new MacBook Air has 72 cores in its GPU.
What is that good? What good does that do?
Apparently, that is a selling point that makes it sound faster and more smoother
Well,
and higher graphics,
is it?
4K, 8K. They're pushing these things out, and it is doing it.
Okay.
Is it because of the multiple cores? I don't know, but I do know that.
Well, too bad. We just got information that EMI, which is, I believe, the Beatles label,
Yeah.
has already trademarked the phrase Apple Core.
Okay.
Actually, I thought it was Core, like CORPS.
Okay.
I don't know. I think that was their record label.
Let's
Go ahead.
look at the cons real quick. It's best if you're alone in the room in order for this thing to work properly and the most
Okay.
effective.
Yeah. If you actually interact with a human, that gets in the way.
Yeah, in the way of this thing. So it's best if you're a loner, if you're someone that doesn't see a lot of people. The other con, it's $3,500.
$3,500.
Yep, 10 times more than the Meta Quest 2,
Wow.
which is only $300. So
Yeah.
here's
and
some
the
pros.
the exact same price as the original Macintosh computer.
Oh, okay. I think we put a down payment on our house for $3,500.
I think some people actually may have bought their house for $3,500.
Well, here in Tucson, I wouldn't be surprised. So here are some pros and cons for the MetaQuest. The pros, it's only $499 to buy. Now, in their defense, they have refined the VR technology for 7 years of real-world use.
Yeah.
So Oculus and Meta, they've gotten feedback from real users because they've had products in VR for the 7 years. Apple is just getting into the VR game. They haven't really had any real-world experience. And the cons is that it's less beefy, less specs, but
less fancy.
less fancy, but it's only been involved in the hardware space for 7 years. So Apple has more experience with hardware and electronics. It has a rich history with that.
Sure.
But Meta only has been involved with hardware electronics for 7 years.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they're trade-offs.
so that's why my vote would be right now for the Meta Quest 3. It has the better product, but the scale may tip the opposite way in a few years.
Well, yeah, possibly, but you are not going to convince an Apple person of that. They are
Loyal.
a hardcore.
Yeah, the hardcore.
Core. Apple Core.
Very nice. And the hardest core people are probably sitting in tents at the Apple Store
right now.
If you'd like to meet them, you can actually go down there and meet them. Again, neither one of these VR headsets are available yet, so expect to see them available in September. It is time to take our midweek commercial break with a word from our sponsors. Up next, science and tech history from this week, more rapid tech reports, including the iPhone that will stop auto-correcting a particular swear word. This is the Computer Doctor Show. We'll be right back.
Here, over here.
For New York, this brings up the base for the Yankees. Runners on second and third, nobody out. The arm goes up in the motion. Here's the next pitch. There looks like a long punch into the bleachers for a home run. It is. The Babe hit it over the fence from the bleachers.
If you've been striking out at Quirky Lube, you're killing me, Smalls. Maybe it's time for an MVP mechanic who can hit automotive diagnostic problems out of the ballpark. Brakes, tires, electrical, air conditioning. We call them as we see them.
Strike, you're out of here. You blind?
Call Perfection Auto Works today, 323-8650, 1046 North Beverly, and perfectionautoworks.com. And it's out of there.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Well, welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with Chris, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Before we get into the next segment, Chris, what can you tell us about what's going on at the Unscrewed Theater these days?
I wanted to let you know that we have improv comedy shows every Friday and Saturday. I always talk about that, but this time what I want to mention is if there's anyone out there who's looking for team building exercises, maybe you work at a company or maybe you own a business and you're looking for a really fun activity to do with your employees or co-workers, we also offer improv workshops. You can do them at Unscrewed Theater or we come to you. It is a really great way to kind of connect and bond and learn some great principles that you can use in your whatever your field is.
Because the points don't matter.
Exactly. But the principles are really good. So go to unscrewedtheater.org if you're interested and just send us a message and I will get back in contact with you.
All right, sounds good. Great things happening at the Unscrewed Theater, unscrewedtheater.org. We're going to take a look back at some science and tech history. But before we do that, we have our update here with the first developed virtual reality headset by Ivan. What was the name again? Ivan.
Scroll up a little bit.
Scroll up. Oh, okay.
No, not that. Ivan something.
There was 1960. Ivan.
1968.
Somebody.
I saw that.
I saw 1960. Yeah, Ivan Sutherland. 1968. His student Bob Serprol. Okay, so
Sproul.
I get Sproul. So was he a teenager? Apparently, he might have developed the first workable, usable VR headset. So
all right,
that's pretty interesting.
Shout out to Bob.
If he's still around. All right, here we go. All right, let's take a look at some science and tech history. We have three interesting ones this time around.
Yes, as a matter of fact. So let's see. Let's go back to June 10th, 1752. There happened to be a thunderstorm that night, and somebody that you may have heard of flew a kite, reportedly. That would be Benjamin Franklin, 271 years ago. And that apparently proved that electricity could be harnessed.
Yes. And that key, here is a trivia question. The key that held the charge, was it a positive charge? Or was it a negative charge?
Oh, well, I always like to think that Ben Franklin was a positive person, so let's go with positive.
You're exactly right. The key did have a positive charge because the atmosphere is positively charged while the ground is negatively charged.
Oh, I did not.
From those two poles. So that's very interesting. So lots of Benjamin Franklin has done many experiments with electricity and instruments and all kinds of things.
Yeah, he was like a scientist.
Yeah, he was a great scientist and a forefather of the United States. So
he's on the Benjamin. That's why they call it the Benjamins. He's on $100 bill, right?
Yeah,
all right. Let's move on. 233 years ago, we are going way back for these. June 13th, 1790, National Sewing Machine Day.
Yes.
So that was Thomas Saint, who was an English inventor in the UK, applied for the very first sewing machine patent.
Yes, that was when the patent was 233 years ago, but it didn't really become a really functioning machine until another guy named William Newton in 1874. He found the drawings made by him in the patent office in London, and he made some adjustments to design what went on to be the build and working model of the modern sewing machine.
He was the Steve Jobs of the sewing machine.
That's a pretty good analogy.
Okay.
Because if you find things that have been left undone by others, and then you just finish it
and you perfect them,
yes,
quote unquote.
There we go. Make it better.
And then you can charge 10 times as much for them.
Well, $3,500.
Yeah, exactly.
For the first sewing machine. There we go. All right. What's the last one?
And then finally, 72 years ago, on June 14th, 1951, the first commercial computer was unveiled. It was called
the UNIVAC. UNIVAC, standing for Universal Automatic Computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was those huge things that you see in the movies, the
Yes.
things that take up an entire room,
Mhm.
and it's got the
the
tapes,
the tape drives,
Yep.
and it's got all
it's
the
got punch cards,
for the tape drives, punch cards for the inputs. It didn't have any screens.
Nope.
Okay, you insert a punch card, and the result would come out on another card.
Wow, that was 72 years ago. And how much did it weigh? It weighed 29,000 pounds.
And I don't have the cost of it, but it was
$3,500.
And it probably weighed as much as a car too.
No, it was probably
costed
it was like millions, right? In research and development and all that, and that's $1951.
Most likely. There we go. Okay, here's some Rapid Tech reports here. Will Meta be releasing another social media to compete with Twitter? So apparently Meta is on this thing with wanting to make more and more social media platforms.
Oh,
so
why?
they're
Why?
they got Facebook, they got Instagram, and now they're going for a third. The internal code name, this is secret information, so don't tell anybody.
Don't tell anybody.
Okay. So Project 92 is the code name, and its public name is going to be called Threads.
Thread with a Z.
Threads with an S.
Oh.
Just Threads. You know, like you're talking, and then
like
there's
a thread. Like you start an email thread,
an email thread or a
like
chat
that.
thread.
Yeah,
exactly. So
somebody's going to pull the thread.
It's or they can get the patent from that sewing machine to rethread the
thread the needle,
rethread the conversation. Anyway, business. Obviously, this is a slap in the face for Elon Musk, as it will mimic the Twitter platform. And apparently people are not liking what Elon has done with Twitter.
That's what I've heard.
The way I use Twitter has not changed. There were a couple of hiccups here and there, but right now it's back to the way that it was using. So I don't understand the whole kerfuffle over Twitter. I'm still not paying for an account. I'm not a power poster on there at all. So I don't know what.
I just think it's a personality issue.
Okay, scammers have switched to scam cores and from scam calls to scam text messages. So it started with scam emails, then scam phone calls, and now it is scam texting. So. The same rule applies. If you don't know who the person is who's sending you the text, then don't reply. Even if it sounds like somebody that you may know. Say, hey, hello.
Click this link.
Hey, how you doing? You know, and it's just like who is this? Don't ask who this is. Because if you reply, you're just helping with the algorithm, and they're going to say, yep, that's a good phone number. Let's put it on the call list.
Exactly.
You know? You're just going to get more and more texting and more calling.
Just delete it if you don't recognize it.
Just delete it. Don't reply. Also, scammers are using malicious actors using AI to carry out this extortion scam. So don't reply back to them. Man, we are running out of time. I couldn't even get to my last one. But before we wrap up, I just want to thank our sponsor, Perfection Auto Works, again for sponsoring our show. Stop by their location near Speedway and Craycroft for your free 26-point inspection. And as always, don't click unverified links in emails or text messages. Use a password manager. Always look at the address bar. Check activity on your bank statements on a regular basis. Enable two-factor authentication. Verify all incoming and outgoing calls, back up your system to the cloud, and listen to the Computer Doctor Show live on Saturdays and posted as podcasts on Tuesdays. If you missed any part of this episode, go to ComputerDoctorShow.com, click episodes, and find episode 134. My name is Aaron Moss, your host and technology expert. Chris co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Tom Fairbanks is at the control board. Stay safe, enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at ComputerDoctorShow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to the Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.